Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, just trying to keep the community informed with a little added commentary along the way. In this video, we will do a brief overview of what's in the agenda packet for the February 6, 2024 City Council meeting. To shorten this up as much as possible, we'll only be hitting the highlights, so feel free to pause and read for additional information. You can participate via teleconference by calling 520-525-8911. The meeting will also be streamed on YouTube Live. Assistance to those requiring accommodations for disabilities is available. You can also participate by sending an email to citycouncil@livingstoncity.com. But your email will not be read out loud at the meeting, and this method is not guaranteed. The closed session has been split into part of it being before the regular meeting and part of it after the regular meeting. The part before the regular meeting is about a conference about labor negotiations. Once open session begins, after the Pledge of Allegiance, moment of silence, roll call, and closed session announcements will be that it is citizens' comments, which is where you can address the City Council on any item not on the agenda. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. After that is announcements and reports. The featured report of the evening is from the Police Department. Here's a list of some of the council members and the boards and commissions of which they are members. Here's the boards and commissions of which Jose Moran is a member, followed by the consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by a member of the public, the city manager, or city council member. We've got some check warrants, a city treasurer's investment report, a bid for a portable 6-inch pump for the Public Works Department, and a redo of a resolution authorizing submittal of grant applications to Cal Recycle. After that is discussion and potential action items. The first one, item number 5, is about an agreement for polling research regarding a potential Livingston sales tax measure to cover new staffing costs at the fire department. Item number 6 is about a possible redo of the part of the municipal code that governs how home occupation permits are issued. Home occupation does not mean just living in the home, but we'll get into that later. After that is council direction on future agenda items, followed by part 2 of the closed session, in which the council will be doing a performance evaluation of our interim city manager. Now we're going to get into some of the backup documentation, beginning with the police department report. Mission statement, staffing levels, looks like a cute Christmas photo, call statistics for 2023, 2023 highlights, staffing changes, and major purchases. Budget. At this point, I will mention that the majority of the general fund budget is used for the police department, in addition to money coming from other special revenue funds. City events the PD attended, more photos, major goals for the future, and there will be time given for feedback and comments. City Treasurer's report for the period ending December 31st, 2023, showing the amount of money in the local agency investment fund and the amount in the Farmers and Merchants Bank. Public Works wants to buy a portable 6-inch pump to use in emergency situations when needed. And it will cost $63,320. Another staff report from Public Works. This one is about fixing a resolution having to do with organics recycling. The city needs to include the words "and payment programs" so it can get money for the collection of CRV beverage containers. Moving on to the staff report about hiring a consultant to do polling research regarding a potential Livingston sales tax measure. The County of Merced has told the City of Livingston that they will need to increase staffing at the fire department, and it's going to cost the City of Livingston a bunch more money than the county is already getting in our property taxes. Now, the county wants an additional $750,000 to cover the increased cost for the additional staffing. I say now because I remember a distinctly different arrangement being discussed in September of 2022. We'll get into that in a little bit. The city does not have that extra $750,000 just lying around. So an ad hoc committee was formed to review a potential sales tax measure for the city of Livingston. The ad hoc committee has met multiple times and decided a survey of residents would probably be a good idea, and it's going to cost about $12,000 to do a survey. The results of the survey will be used to make an overall recommendation to the City Council as to whether it would like to place an item on the November ballot asking voters to weigh in on a potential sales tax measure. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people around here would rather have a root canal than get hit up for another tax. I'm betting it would take a lot of convincing. People would have to be comfortable with what this money would be going towards, exactly why it would be needed, and be able to trust that the city would be really using the money for the exact reason it said it needed the money. And that could end up being a really hard sell, especially with the inflationary pain people are already experiencing. Remember when I said now the county is wanting an additional $750,000? Well, if I've got my history straight, back in 2022, before the city council of the time got rid of the second city manager in less than 2 years, the county was only asking for about half that amount. After all, the county was getting all of Livingston's property taxes that were dedicated for fire service and using those funds to fund the fire department, which answered calls not only within the city limits, but also within the county. You can see here from a staff report at the time, under the agreement being discussed, the county would continue to administer the property tax portion allowed for fire services and split the cost of additional staffing 50-50. This agreement was supposed to result in an increase in overall safety for the residents of Livingston. We're wrapping up tonight with the agenda item about home occupation permits. The word home occupation permit doesn't really give you a good picture about what these permits are about. Think cottage industry or home-based business. These would be better descriptors for the kinds of activities we're talking about. This email to the City Council talks about cottage industries and some of the obstacles they face. Cottage industries refer to small-scale businesses operated out of residential property, such as baking, sewing, woodworking, and other crafts. It notes the difficulties facing a person who wishes to start a home-based business which involves food handling. The author talks about the benefits of cottage industries and encourages the council to consider recrafting the municipal code so that cottage industries can thrive. And that by doing so, they would be supporting local entrepreneurs, boosting the local economy, and helping to preserve cultural heritages. If you like what I do here, please follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And remember, editorial content is my own as a long-term resident of Livingston and does not represent the views and opinions of the City Council or the City of Livingston itself, and certainly does not hold itself out to be any kind of legal advice.